I'm Prince Sambar.
And I'm Tajinder Minhas.
We're here to talk to you about Congress.
The United States Congress was created by the framers to more equally represent the people and decide on what they want the government to do. The framers created a bicameral legislature with the House of Representatives and the Senate, two separate branches of the government. The Senate system of Congress was created to give equal representation to the states, allowing two senators from each state regardless of their population, while the House of Representatives is a more direct representation, giving Congress enough congressmen according to the population of the states in their respective districts. First Constitutional Congress was just the representatives from almost all of the British colonies in North America at the time, and the Second Constitutional Congress was on July 4th, 1776. That's where the Declaration of Independence was adopted and America was referred to as the United States of America. The Articles of Confederation created one body with equal representation among the states, in which state had veto over most decisions. With no executive or judicial branch, the government was entirely weak and lacked the authority to regulate commerce and enforce the laws. Government powerlessness led to the 1787 Convention, and this proposed a new constitution with a bicameral Congress with the Senate and the House of Representation. The compromise plan was adopted with representatives chosen by population because the smaller states felt that they weren't going to be more directly represented like the larger states were. And furthermore, there were checks and balances within the legislature because of the two separate chambers.
The enumerated powers are the powers specifically granted to Congress by the Constitution.
The work that needs to be done in Congress relies solely on the relationship between Congress and the presidency. Lawmaking and policymaking powers, they're divided, and the politics of shared power have often become stormy. In general, Congress and the president have to collaborate and solve problems in order to get stuff done for the people of their nation. Article 3 of the Constitution that established the judicial branch leaves Congress discretion to determine and shape the structure of the federal judiciary. Even the number of Supreme Court justices is left to Congress, and the Constitution also grants Congress the power to establish courts that are inferior to the Supreme Court, and to that end Congress has established district courts in the United States, and they are the ones that try federal cases, and they also created the United States Courts of Appeals, which appeal the district court cases. In regards to the relationship between Congress and the executive branch, the Vice President also serves as the President of the Senate and may cast the deciding vote in case of a tie. The Senate also has the power to confirm the President's appointments and to ratify treaties regarding foreign trade. The Senate also tries impeachment cases where federal officials refer to it by the House in order to pass legislation and send it to the President for his signature. If the President vetoes a bill, they may override his veto by passing the bill again in each chamber with at least 2/3 of each body voting in favor.
The House Leader is often referred to as the Speaker of the House. The Speaker is also elected by the majority party.
Hi, we're here today at the Tracy Police Department to interview Sergeant Tony Shenman about how his department communicates with Congress.
How do you guys communicate with the Congress? What kind of grants do you guys apply for?
Well, as far as direct communication with Congress, we don't communicate with them directly.
Right.
We communicate through the legislative body in the state of California, the state legislature, and also through our lobbying group, which is called the Peace Officers Research Association of California, or PORAC. and they have people that work directly with Congress on our behalf. In terms of grant management, there's a lot of federal grants that are available to law enforcement and to cities in general. Specifically, we have things called equipment grants that allow us to go out and purchase specific types of equipment to be utilized by the police department to assist in enforcing laws, from vehicles to cameras, to in-car camera systems, to weapon systems, to technology like CAD RMS, which is computer-aided dispatch and records management systems. We also have something called COPS grants, COP grants, which allow us to pay salaries to hire people when we need to add to the police force. And sometimes that includes both sworn officers and professional staff. Unfortunately, given the current state of the economy, the COPS grants aren't as large as they used to be, and we don't see those as frequently as we used to.
So those are all the grants you guys apply for?
There are also specific grants that are occasionally announced that allow us to buy specific pieces of equipment or specific pieces of technology, including software and computers.
Okay. Are those like the only ways you guys actually have a communication through Congress? Or?
That's pretty much it. The majority of the work we do, because we're a municipality in the state of California, we're governed by the laws of the state of California.
Right.
So when we have issues with things like that, we work with the city management, which is in the building across the street, as well as the Chiefs Association, our police chief.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a representative that interacts with the state legislature, and if something needs to be escalated beyond that, it's handled through the governor's office.
The minority party in the House also elects a minority leader. The leadership in the House has a great deal of power over its party because the leaders have the ability to reward and punish the members. Members who cooperate with the leadership may be given good committee assignments or even leadership of a committee.
Oh, didn't see you there. The current political profile of Congress is the current House of Representatives made up of 193 Democrats and 242 Republicans. The current Senate makeup, however, is 51 Democrats, 2 independents, and 47 Republicans. The current House of Representatives has a Republican majority, while the current Senate still kept its Democrat majority from the 111th Congress. In Congress, there are two ways that the elected official can act, as a delegate or as a trustee. A trustee is an official that the constituents voted in because they trust their judgment, and the trustee votes on decisions on their own personal decision. The delegate, however, votes on they vote with the decision in regards to their constituents, regardless of how they feel about the issue. Like if a congressman disagrees with the issue but the constituents agree, the congressman will agree if he's a delegate. And if he's the trustee, he will vote in favor of how he feels about it. We're here at the California State San Joaquin Aqueduct to talk about the Congress-created Dust Bowl. Due to federal legislation, water has been turned off to the farmers in Southern California that's used for their irrigation canals in their plots. A lot of farmers are calling it the Congress-created Dust Bowl of 2009. A new regulation that was announced by the Obama administration on June 5, 2009, it reduced the water supplies by 500,000 acre-feet, enlarging the ongoing devastation associated with current shortages. In a briefing for congressional offices, the National Marine Fisheries Service announced that the operation was to protect the extinction of salmon, sturgeon, and the southern resident killer whale and steelhead. The reductions will be on top of the water cutbacks associated with the Delta Smelt and the San Joaquin River settlement. The Delta pumps that were shut down are leaving the farmers in those areas in the Southern California in a state of devastation. Then they are unable to farm their crops. And as you go down along 5 South, you will see signs that say the California Congress-created Dust Bowl, and this is referring to this situation that most people don't know about it.